What is up, 7th grade? This is lesson 29. Our objective is how do you round and estimate, which are really pretty similar things. So let's talk about rounding. There's actually a couple different ways you can round. The first one is to place a number on a number line. And if you have number lines around, that makes it fairly easy. But it's kind of also helpful, I guess, if you're a visual person. So it says round 283 to the nearest hundreds. So I'm going to put 283 on a number line with just hundreds on it. 100, 200, 300, 400. And notice that 283 is going to be between the 200 and the 300, but it's going to be closer to the 300. So since this is closer to the 300, I'm rounding to either the 200 or 300. I'm like, oh, it's closer to this one. So then I would just say my answer is 300. Part B says round to the nearest tenth. So now, remember this is ones, tens, hundreds. So now I'm going to round to this place. So now it's going to go in increments of 10. So 260, 270, 280, 290, 300, etc. And 283 is going to fall right about here, closer to the 280 than 290 because it's 280 and 3 more. This is 280 and 10 more, so it's going to be right about here. So this is going to be closer to 280, so it's going to put for my answer. It's 280. And you can also do this a different way. And how I like to do it is, whenever I'm thinking of hundreds, I'm going to find the hundreds place, and I'm going to draw a line. I'm cutting it off. So everything to the right of that line is going to just be zeros. So all I have to do is decide, well, should I leave this a 2, or should I make this become a 3? In order to answer that, you need to look right here at this next one. Since 8 is bigger than 5, and 5 is like the halfway mark, since it's bigger than 5, I'm going to want to round this up. So then I'm going to say, okay, this is going to be a 300, and the rest of those are zeros. You know, it's the same answer either way. Here, since it says tens, I'm going to underline the 10. That's what I'm wanting to get to. I'm going to cut it off. Everything past that's going to be a 0. Since this 3 is smaller than 5, that means I know I just need that 8 to stay the same. So it's going to be 280. Again, same answer as working with the number line. So it says round this, so there is one non-zero digit. So that means I want one of the numbers to be have a number in it, one of the digits to have a number in it, and the rest of them to be 0. So in this case, I want to round it to the thousands place. So I want it to be here, so I'm going to cut it right there. Since this 2 is smaller than 5, I'm just going to say 5,000. It says round this to the nearest millionth. So now I find the millionth. This is ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millionths. So I'm trying to go to right here, cut it off. Since this is a 1, that 3 is going to stay a 3. 93 million. And now, example 5 says round this to the nearest whole number. So I don't want any decimals or fractions. And I'm trying to just figure that out. I have 7/12. What I have to think about is what is half of 12? Half of 12 is 6. So 6/12. So I'm trying to decide, is 7/12 bigger or smaller than the 6/12? Well, 7/12 is bigger. This one's bigger. So that means I'm going to want to round up to that 14. It needs to round up to 15 because 7/12 is bigger. If it had been 5/12, then I would have left it there at 14. So then I'm going to say, okay, this is about 15. Now when we work with estimating, it's really the same thing. We're going to be rounding numbers, so that way it makes it easy to multiply or to estimate an answer. We're not going to use exact numbers. Sometimes you want exact numbers, and sometimes just something close is fine. So it says, Barb stopped by the store on the way home to buy 2 gallons of milk. for $2.79 per gallon. A loaf of bread for this much and a jar of peanut butter for this much. About how much should she expect to pay for these items? So she's going through the store and she's just wanting to estimate how much this is. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, she's buying 2 gallons of milk and they're $2.79 a piece. So that's about 3. See how the 79 would make that 2 round up to a 3? So she's about spending 3 plus 3, right? Because there's 2 gallons of milk. A loaf of bread is $1.89, so that's about $2. So I'm going to say plus 2. And a jar of peanut butter is $3.15, so that's really about $3. So let's just add all those up. These two are 6. These two add up to 5. So this is about $11. Okay, is that exact answer? No. Could we find an exact answer? Yes. However, we don't need to because we're just wanting to estimate. You know, maybe she's saying, do I need to get a $20 bill out of my wallet or will a $10 bill work? All right, this one says mentally estimate these. So for this next one here, I'm going to think, do I need to round this up to 6 or leave it at 5? Remember, half of 10 is 5. Since this is bigger than 5 right here, this is going to be 6. So I'm going to think 6 times, let's do the same thing here. Half of 3 is 1.5. Since this is smaller than 1.5, I'm just going to leave that as 3. So I'm thinking, since it says estimate, I'm just thinking 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18, so I'm going to say about 18. This one, I'm trying to figure out something easy here. So I'm going to say, oh, that's about 400. And this is about 300. So I'm going to say 400 times 300. 4 times 3 is 12. And add on those 4 zeros. So it's about that. All right, well, this one seems a little bit more complicated. Notice we are doing division now. Well, I'm going to say this is about 20. So let's do 4,000 divided by 20. Because again, this is close to 4,000, that's close to 20, so let's just estimate that. Well, 4,000 divided by 20 goes in that 0, goes in this 2 times. Notice that's going to be 0, so I'm going to say about 200. About 200. Example 8 says, Eldon calculated the area of this rectangle to be 25.25 square inches. Is Eldon's calculation reasonable? So we're not trying to say, is he for sure exactly right? We're just trying to say, is that close? Should I trust his calculations? So let's look at this width. The width is 7 3/4. Half of 4 is 2, so that means that's bigger than 2. So this is about, I'm going to say 8 inches. And then over here, this is 7/8. Half of 8 is 4. So since that 7 is bigger than 4, I'm going to say this is about 5 inches. So to find the area, remember we just multiply length times width. So I'm going to say 8 times 5, and that gives me 40 inches squared. So is he fairly close to that with 25.25? So I'd say no, area is about 40 inches squared. So is it reasonable? No. Why? Because the area is about 40 inches squared. All right, your homework's on page 204. You're going to do the practice set, all the 29s, all the 28s, and 5 more of your choice.